is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes. Yes, I am still part of the show, and I am super thankful for all of my team who have carried on as I've got some things going on and exciting things, very exciting things going on, and I am so happy to be back with you. Well, as always, I just want to remind you, if you were invited to this program by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. They cared enough about you, so please care enough to say thank you and let them know what you liked best about the show, as we are a resource for an amazing community of health-minded individuals who are health coaches, certified holistic health coaches, and many more modalities and just personalities and people. We absolutely love the people and the community that we have been able to be part of and join in our Daily with Doc and Becca listenership. So today, we're going to go into that whole thing about community. But first, my name is Becca Dukes. I am a certified holistic health coach. I am also a certified naturopathic practitioner and the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health. I'm also a mom and an aunt. So it is put on my heart after I experienced such an amazing change where I went from just barely surviving, not looking forward to waking up each day, to now thriving and just loving what I do as I'm helping others do the same. So today we're going to be looking at the health of a nation. It begins with the health of its people. And the question is what can the health of our bodies teach us about the health of our communities? And what can the health of our communities teach us about ourselves? Well, I can't think of a better person to join me in this conversation as a friend who I am so grateful for, Julio Cesar Mendoza Vaquero, who is an author, a functional medicine practitioner, just a servant in so many different areas of life. where he is a sponge and willing to come on and share about what happens when there's unhealthy relationships, not only in families, but the communities, and how it goes even broader than that. So if somebody could please put Julio up on the screen with me. I am so excited for this conversation, Julio, as we have been chatting about it over the last, well, more than a week, because we started this conversation over a week ago. So welcome, Julio, to Daily with Doc and Becca. How are you today?
Very good, Becca. Thank you so much again for this invitation and for having this chat with all of us, because I think the topic was fantastic when you sent it to me. So it really resonated. So thank you so much for all of that.
Well,
Here.
thank you. Thank you for being someone that understands, as I know that you've got a deeper understanding of things in a more insightful way, and not just here in the United States, but around the world. So as we're looking at this, one of the questions is equally relevant when it comes to when one part of a system becomes unhealthy, what happens to the whole? I mean, this applies in medicine, public health, relationships, and faith. Can you just share with me what you think about health?
Well, when I heard the topic of today's podcast or meeting, immediately my mind said, okay, what is first, the chicken or the egg? So I don't know why I connected those dots. Health is everything. Without health, we will not be here. We will not be talking. In other words, if we can understand that we are, first of all, an energy being in a body, then the whole perception and the whole thing changes, not only individually or even as a cell, that's, going inside of us, the micro, inside out, then we start understanding and connecting the system, not only the internal systems by looking at the organs and the digestive and the cardiovascular, but then going outside of us, then the family, then the community, then the nation, then the planet, because it's all connected. We are not independent beings. Many of us, we believe we're independent, but we are interdependent. We live in this concept of oneness, which is a universal law. So what is health for me? Well, if we are organisms that are alive, we as organisms, we also have internal systems that are in harmony. They are supposed to be in harmony when they are in their natural state. So the first question that comes after that definition is, okay, what is natural? What is that natural state, and what is being in harmony? So depending upon that, we'll have health or not health.
And that's a question, health or not health?
Yes.
How do you define health? Because most people, whenever they think health, they just think of the physical body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But your mind goes deeper than that.
It's not. Health is that's only part of health. But we have, as entities of energy beings, we have emotions, we have a mental state, we have, in this life of matrix that we're in, we have financial health, we have relationship health. So just to summarize it, whenever a person or a human being has a problem in life, it goes into either of these categories. One of them is the mind. We need to start discerning how are we going to create, how are we going to manifest things. The second one is how I'm getting along with other people. That goes into relationships. Then the other one is health, and the other one is finances. So whenever a person has a problem, he will say, oh, I don't get along with this individual. Okay, that's relationship. Oh, I don't have the money for this. Okay, that's finances. Oh, I have this illness. Okay, that goes into health. But then overall, it starts from the mind. So if we are in alignment and if we are healthy in those 4 areas, because we are in alignment with the natural state of everything, of the major organism, which is the planet, then we are healthy individuals. We are in alignment. I think the tricky word here is in alignment. If we are not in alignment, then we can have certain issues, which is not good or bad. It's just that we need to go back to alignment. But if we're not aware, that's another key word. If we're not aware, the awareness is not there, then the alignment will not be there. So it's a matter of being, let's say, awakened. It's a matter of seeing differently. It's using the senses in a different way. I see, I hear, I speak, but how? What is the intention behind when I see? Where is it coming from? From what particular consciousness, that's another tricky word, comes? Does it come from the material consciousness, or it comes from the energetic consciousness? Because it's different. Duality exists there. So depending upon where it's coming from, that's how it's going to be manifested. Everything in life.
So health is more than just the absence of disease.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's like you said, harmony.
Harmony. Exactly.
And then the harmony between the mind, the body, the heart, relationships, purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I know purpose falls in there too, in addition to the community. So share with us what happens when that harmony is broken and some of the symptoms that will eventually appear.
Excellent. And on the last topic, we talk about integrity going beyond the dollar, which I'm going to like a continuation because it's all related. So let's and also the map of consciousness. I love David Hopkins because I think he's a mentor. He came to this earth to give us that information. If we look at that map, it's divided into two. It's higher consciousness and lower consciousness. So if we have in high vibration, which is a natural law, all the natural laws, it's something that we don't understand. We understand man-made law, but we have forgotten about the natural laws. The natural law of oneness, the compensation, of correspondence, of attraction, of vibration. So if we understand those laws, then we are in alignment. We can understand the intangible. The intangible lives in high frequencies. So in other words, it's just in alignment with natural laws. The planet is in alignment with natural law. When the planet is in discrepancy and we're doing something to it, it will react. We talked about the earthquake, tornadoes, what have you, because it's not in alignment. The same thing happens to all of us, inside of us. If we're not in alignment, let's say we are dormant, I'm eating something that is not appropriate, I'm going to connect the dots somehow here in all this thing, because it's kind of a very deep conversation. But if I'm not in alignment, let's start within me. If I'm not in alignment within myself, I'm not eating properly. I have been programmed from my parents of doing this or doing that. Or if I'm not in the compensation, the correspondence law, as is below is above. We spoke last time about how the microbiome relates to the land. They also have bacteria, all that. So if we start understanding that nature is giving us signs, when we see a walnut, we see the form of a brain. So that means that it's good for the brain. If we are not in alignment with that correspondence, then we are going to get lost. We are not aware. The same thing with oneness. If I believe that I can do it all by myself, it's not true, because I have a body that is working with different systems to work so I can talk, I can see. So I will be too selfish to say that. So it's not a matter of understanding that principle. Then health comes into place. So we need to understand nature, that we are natural beings and we are part of this planet because we are a reflection, a mirror, a small cell in all this universe. In the body, we have different cells. Those are the population. If we go beyond and we increase perspective, because it's all about perception, everybody looks differently depending on the angle they're looking at. But if we increase awareness, we're going to perceive that in a different angles. We're going to see it all. I think we spoke a little bit last time about it. So the same thing happens. Let's go above. So if I believe that my cells is like a population, so each of us on Earth is like cells, and then the planet is the whole body. So if we can understand that everything starts within us, and that we are going to program others, and then family, and then community, and then nations, and then planets, it all starts within us from that health that encompasses or that surrounds the emotional, the mental, everything within us. We are complex beings, and yet we're very simple. I think we're becoming complex because we have forgotten, we have divided, we have separated from the major cosmos. We separated, we are divided. So therefore, we are no longer bees. We're not creating honey. We're not creating any of that. So we are somehow lost. And that worries me because, yes, it will create illness, not only within us, because it's a reflection of what the exterior is doing to us, but we are not being aware to protect us. We need awareness to start within so we can teach out. Otherwise, we'll be influenced by the exterior, and that is not good because the exterior is already not in alignment with nature. It's in alignment with man-made laws. Very simply, I don't know if this makes sense.
Well, just to kind of bring it in a little bit, the body is made of systems. Our communities are systems. The earth is systems, which is part of another system. Yet in modern medicine, it's taught about diagnosing disease. And public health reminds us that our environments do matter. I think it's becoming more and more aware that our environments do matter. At the same time, people are recognizing that lasting wellness also involves nutrition, stress management, relationships, purpose, and healthy communities, not just throwing a chemical created or lab created pill at a symptom. So, I mean, as far as the symptoms and the whole body goes, what are some of your insights in being able to create that health from within?
Beautiful. It goes again to alignment. In other words, let's see if I can put him into different terms. The body, okay, let's start. When we are born, we get separated from our essence. So the energy goes into this body. So the energy forgets what it is. So we are born and we start living, right? And then already, once we're there, we have an identity, where we are from, the food we're going to eat, the environment we're going to be eating. If I'm born in South America, I might be able to eat more mangoes. But if I'm born in the States, I might be able to eat more apples. But guess what? We need mangoes and apples. How are we going to connect that? By community, by importing, exporting. Okay, that makes sense. So inner, it means understanding that the body needs to be in alignment with nature, exercising, eating well, good relationships, positive thinking, meditation, especially our thoughts. Everything starts in our thoughts. That's why meditation is so important, because we can then, from our thoughts, we can say, okay, where is this thought coming from? It is coming from my body consciousness, from the lower vibration, or is it coming from a higher vibration? So then we start getting in alignment. So already there, those thoughts will create chemicals in our bodies called hormones. So already there, we have something given to us that will allow us to be, healthier, right? But let's suppose we have all the knowledge. Okay, we need to eat whole foods, we need to eat proteins, we have all food. But then the exterior, epigenetics, because it's not in alignment with nature, but in alignment with man-made law, we go to a market and I get my apple. But then my apple has a code 3 instead of a 9. It's not organic. I have the best of intention for being healthy, but I'm being bombarded by something that is in lower vibration. So it becomes like a war. It becomes like we need to put extra effort, not only to be educated and aware that we're trying to work on it, but also to be given the body the things that it needs to be not deficient in nutrients, like Dr. Wallace says, but ultimately provide the body these nutrients. So the divine intelligence, which is part of health that the conventional practitioners don't recognize, but recognizing that divine intelligence so the body can help us heal itself. It's not us, we're a facilitator. So we are bombarded again by this no alignment. And then it comes from outside, it comes from the markets, it comes from the codes, it comes from the food, the process. So we just need to be aware, okay, what's good for my soul, what's good for my body, so my energy can work, instead of what's good for the body, which is not going to be good for my energy because I'm going to be fatigued, I'm going to be tired, the energy is not going to work. And that for me is not being healthy, it's being unhealthy. So it's connecting the dots so we have balance. It's about balancing ourselves. So what can we do? As I said, sleeping good, good food, good conversations, being educated, more than educated, being aware, meditating, observing our thoughts. What is it that we can do? Understanding the natural laws, understanding that I'm part of the universe, understanding that I'm connected with everything, I'm not isolated. Understanding those powers and understanding that we have spiritual powers and that we have virtues, integrity, ethics. Those are intangible and very high vibrational concepts. And most of the earth is in very low vibrational right now. That's why it's kind of hard for educators to not to get to influence, but to educate people on what they need to do because they don't resonate. We're in different frequencies. So health is being in alignment with everything.
Okay, so that's for the individual. How does that affect the nation and our world?
Mm-hmm. In me as an individual, if I'm not in alignment and I have a child, how am I going to program that child? The programming will continue. Then the family is not in alignment. I've been programming, I've been teaching probably the wrong things. I don't know, because I'm not in alignment. Stress, no time for family, all the issues that are going on. I mean, I don't have time for my family. I need to have 3 jobs, 2 jobs, more stress, more stress, more stress. That family then will become part of the community. What are they going to teach the community? What are they going to bring along? We need communities like this one dealing with Doc. The more communities that are in alignment, then the vibration will be higher. And higher vibration will destroy low vibrations. It will consume lower vibrations. Then the community will start going to a state. Okay, what kind of state is it? Then the nation, then the world. That's why we can see in the world, third world countries, not third world countries, not judging, but it needs to be in a, it's about consciousness. And sometimes not so much about the consciousness of individuals, but also the consciousness of the people that are governing or that are creating the paradigms. So we are in a process of going back either to the roots and looking at the cause, and the cause is really that we're not in alignment. We're losing common sense. We are not understanding that we have the natural laws that need to be working with us. One thing that we need to do as a community is that if we're going to create man-made, we need to create man-made laws that are in alignment with natural laws. In other words, let's give the body no processed food. Let's give the body only organic. Let's give the body, but those are laws. Those are laws. So it's beyond our control. It's about integrity versus the dollar. It sounds harsh, but it's very true. So what kind of programming are we going to create? Because we are in the process now in this, these timings that we need different programmings because the results we can see, the earthquakes, do we have more healthier people? We have more chronic, we have more cancer, we have more of everything. Why? We're not connecting. We are not in alignment. Again, I'm using the word alignment a lot, but we are not in connection. We are not really creating high vibrational scenarios.
So it sounds like we need to start a new chapter of life.
Yes.
close that chapter of overprocessed foods, maybe too much television.
Yes.
I know one of the ways that I keep my stress low is I don't watch the news.
Can I say something, Becca? For the first time, I'm going to share it. I'm sorry for interrupting. You know,
Yes.
my main career is, when I went to school, is marketing. And I couldn't work on it. I couldn't handle it. Whenever I was there and I knew that something was not appropriate, I couldn't handle that consciousness. So I changed my consciousness into finances. I think it's a little bit different, you know, I don't know, but I wasn't harming anybody. You know what I mean? I felt like I was harming. I didn't feel comfortable. Let me put it that way. My vibration was not there. So I changed careers. So you mentioned TV. Whoops.
So I mean, marketing is you're trying to appeal to a certain demographic.
Yeah.
Finance, I mean, numbers are kind of cut and dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, but if I was having somebody deal with my finances, I'd rather have somebody like you than some others. But just saying. But you mentioned something about, like we talked about last week, integrity. And as I'm looking at the ingredients on so many different foods, even things that are said to be health foods, and the ingredients that they're hiding in there are not beneficial to our bodies. So as we're looking at possibly creating a new chapter in life, closing a chapter on some of the habits that we've had, what are some things that we can do, Julio, to help open up that chapter when it comes to making wiser choices for, well, the health of ourselves, and then of course where we spend our dollars actually speaks volume to the communities and the manufacturers and where our nation is going.
Excellent. Wow, that's why I said what's first, the chicken or the egg? We go back to, okay, everything starts from a thought. Let's go a little bit deeper, right? And I think all of you probably have heard this expression, which I wrote it down a little here, and I will look over it. Everything starts with a thought. We need to watch that thought. Where's it coming from? Is it coming from the light, or is it coming from something dark? Because we need to survive. We need money. It's planet Earth. It's material. Even though when we die, we're not going to take any material. Yet we fight for it. But if we look at the balance, and the balance in justice is a balance, it's a scale. What are we feeding more? We're feeding more darkness. That's why it's heavier than the light. And that's what my book is about, beingism. We need to use the beingness more, which is pretty much the principles that we need to bring down so we can create a heaven on earth. It sounds like a new topic, but it's very true. We need, as is above, is below. So we need to follow that correspondence. Right now, it's not as is above. Right now, it's a mess. I mean, so everything starts with a thought. That thought will lead into action. Okay, I have a good thought. I'm going to act upon it. Okay, Julio, let's create a podcast related to, look, we're acting. It came from a thought, and we're doing the podcast today. So that action came from benevolence, from a benevolence place, because we want to help people. We want to serve them, right? So the action then is become a habit. Okay, let's change the example. Okay, corn, it used to be okay, but today it's not good. It creates insulin resistance, a lot of things. Okay, my programming is that I've been eating corn. Okay, that's my habit. How am I going to change that habit? Undo it. Okay, let me eat almond flour. Let me do something different. Let me change the habit. But again, it needs to come from a thought that I already changed. So that habit then will become a character. What kind of character I'm going to have? I'm going to be an ill person. I'm going to be an athlete. What personality? I'm going to use my principles. What am I going to be using? Then the character will become my destiny. But every time we need to be observing each of those habits. But it comes from, but that thought will come from a specific place of that duality. It will come from the benevolence, and we will see the emotions of peace. Oh, I discern this. I feel nice. But when we are not discerning well, we will feel uncomfortable. Oh, no, I don't like this. So we need to listen to the heart, we say, because the decision was not appropriate. And the soul knows, the energy knows about it. And it will create discomfort because that emotion and that feeling is the only thing that connects us with the above. If we know how to listen to it and be aware of it. So in other words, don't be emotional. I mean, oh my God, I'm angry. I did this, I did that. No, no, no. Why am I angry? Why am I this? Why am I that? What is the connection? What is it that you're trying to tell me? To top it off, we human beings, in our beingism, in our awakening, I believe that we have to have a pineal gland that is working fine because that's the connection to everything. But if the pineal gland is calcified because of fluoride, a lot of things that it's not doing well, then the connection is going to become even harder. So to answer your question, what can we do to change that chapter? Okay, let's suppose I am an educator in health, all of us as a community, and we demand, we need to have courage. Now we're going to jump from the soul, from the lower vibration to the highest vibration. Then we need to say as a community, okay, we need to change this. We don't want to eat more processed food. We don't want this. We need to create paradigms and law. Right now I'm working, I wish, it's my action, it's in my thought. That was in Venezuela, and I wish it would be everywhere. And one of the things that I would like to work on, and I'm working, it's written, it's everything, because the heart is there, is that constitutionally, the country should combine the conventional way of doing treatments with the holistics, and that we are all in alignment. Because already there we have the body, and then we are listening to other practitioners and work as a team like the bees to create honey. But if I'm isolated, if only we treat the people or the human beings only by looking at the body, but we forget other areas, we are not doing a holistic perspective. So if we have the background and we said, okay, you know what? All the practitioners are helping us in all areas. Oh, wow, this will be a new era. It will be a new change. Because already so far, we know what is not working. So what do we need to do so it works? Communication, different paradigms, at the low level, change it, more in alignment with natural law. Right now, they're separated. Natural laws is like intangible. Oh, that's blah, blah. That doesn't exist. It does. It does exist. We're part of it. But we are separated. We go back to non alignment. We are just divided. Just imagine that we all work together in the health arena. That I can choose to go to a chiropractor, that I can choose to go to a nutritionist, that I can do lots of things. That's what I like about Joel Walla, Dr. Joel Walla. He observed the whole scenario from land to human beings. So he had it. He has written books. Why yet we're not listening as a whole world? Why yet people are not aware of that even though it exists? Why, if the Chinese medicine has been 5,000 years, why did we forget about it? Why did we forget Ayurveda? What happened to that blockage? That's an illness at the macro level. In the body, I have a kidney disease, but it's a blockage of energy. We block it. So we need to go back to either the roots, the alignment, and the understanding that we are an energy in the body, and that this body and this energy is living in this living organism called planet, which is connected to all of us, even though we're working interdependently.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, you mentioned one of my heroes. How did you find Dr. Joel Wallach?
Beautiful. The universe puts all the souls together, puts people together. I believe in that. And that's the law of attraction. It's the law of cause and effect. We attract one another. I have an incredible friend who is very knowledgeable, very smart in holistic medicine. He knows quite a lot. His name is Sandro. He probably might be here, Quinones. So I met him at a gym. He was talking about health, and then it resonated. And immediately the vibrations came together, and we started talking about all these things. I was in holistic medicine. I did not have my practice yet for functional medicine. And he started talking. And he went beyond. And then he says, read these books. he introduced me Dr. Doel Wallach and another naturopath. And that's how I found it. Even though I had some background, I have some information, but not about the 90 nutrients, which for me, it made even more sense. Why? Because the 90 nutrients, and it's even more than that, isn't in the chemical table. Remember when we studied chemistry, the periodic table? All the
Yes.
elements of the earth are there. If we are part of earth, then those elements are within us. So when he said that, it matched. And I said, wow, now we have a pioneer. We have somebody that is talking about it. So I said, okay, that's an angel sent by God. So that was Dr. Joel Wallach. And I said, now it's resonating. So that's how I started observing and I learning about the 90 nutrients and about Joel Wallach, Dr. Joel Wallach.
And can you share with us, have you experienced any type of transformation or improvements in your own health?
Yes, yes. Very good question. I'm actually helping 5 people right now, and but I start with me. I used to when I cleanse a lot. I do a lot. I do a lot of autophagy, fasting, which creates autophagy, and every time I do it, I can feel that my body it goes into a reset mode. So at that point, I think, not that I think, I feel that my body's clean. If I eat something inappropriate, I immediately listen to my body and I said, I'm more aware. And I said, wow, this thing is not good on me. The other day, they invited me to a cake, to a birthday party, and they gave me a little bit of, piece of cake. That night, I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia. The next day, I went to see the cake and the ingredients. Oh my God, it was a list like this, but I didn't see it. And I said, okay, this is not working on me. So when I take the nutrients, let's say I love the Rise and Restore and of course the packages and all that, I can see the difference in me. But I'm also aware, and I also have to have the knowledge that if I take those, I also must be eating better. So in other words, it's not going to create miracles if I don't change my habits. This is like I usually tell my friends and people and clients, this is to supplement what the earth cannot be giving us because the earth is not in alignment anymore with anything. So this is just to supplement so the body can start functioning better and in according to reach optimum health. So yes, I've seen better sleep. Sugar levels went down. I lost weight. I'm helping an aunt with arthritis, and her hands are no longer crooked. They're straight. Another lady with cancer, and she went to the doctor the other day, and she said, "What are you doing? You're fantastic." They wanted her to take some very reactive pill. It's not necessary anymore. So in other words, but it took me a year and a half for my friend who had cancer not to convince her to see this awareness. You see, if we had the exterior and different programming and it comes from the TV, if we had the TV, imagine if the TV were in alignment, okay, with natural laws, it wouldn't be so hard because people would be aware and educated. But what kind of information are we getting? We go back to information. We're getting a lot of information, but one spiritual power is discernment. How are we going to discern the information? So we need to have that specific inner awareness so that we can, in our loneliness or solitude, discern what's being given to us or not. So then we can decide and act upon it.
You mentioned the word discernment, which has been a word that has really been part of my journey, where there was a time where my brain was not functioning well enough to have good discernment. And it was because of all the environmental toxins, whether it was the prescriptions, whether it was the cleaners I was using, even though I thought I was doing things quote unquote healthy, there were still a lot of environmental things that kept me from being able to improve my health. So share a little bit more on how our health can actually be that switch to starting the change, not only in ourselves, our families, our communities, but also in our nations.
How health. Interesting. Without health, we're dead. We can be alive, we can be robots. We are an automatic system. We are people that are supposed to have, when I say people, we are human beings that are supposed to have critical thinking.
Mhm.
Because critical thinking will start doubting everything. So if our critical thinking is used with benevolence, because we are in alignment, we go back to that word, then whatever that's going to be created is going to be created with love. If the greed, the lack of integrity, if all those lack of principle, which I call vices, are present, then whatever is going to be manifested is going to be fake. It's not going to be true, and it will collapse. We can see the earthquake in Venezuela, bad buildings. Imagine that we have no cofactors, no nutrients. That's the equivalent of illness. So health, it's like a wake-up call. It's like, okay, you don't have health, you're gone. You have health, I'll give you the opportunity for you to create with love. You want to create with greed, guess what? You're only going to live 74 years because you're going to, you know what I mean? I had the experience at home, and you know about my two mothers, 103, 74. 74 took medication, Alzheimer's. Now we believe it's created. A lot of things, processed food. The other lady, uh, eggs, butter, avocados from the trees. She didn't have to worry about what code she was buying, whether it was 943. She just naturally picked it up from her garden. So, and we can see the results. So health is with health, we can do a lot. We can create. But with health, let's suppose I take on once I have the health, remember, once we are born, we already have an identity. And then let's say I'm going to become a politician, or let's suppose I'm going to become a lawyer. Okay, but I have the benevolence in my mind, and I'm a law creator. What kind of law am I going to create? I'm going to create laws that are beneficial to society. So because I have lived the experience of being healthy, and I know what is good for my body. And if it's good for my body and I have that benevolence, I'm going to have laws good in finances, good in relationships, in psychology, in whatever. So health is important because it's a wake-up call towards the energetic part of the human being, the beingism within us. I have a topic in beingism in health, beingism in relationships, beingism in finances, beingism in education. So that beingism, we start creating in all the different endeavors of life.
So this is a question that I've had quite a while, and since you keep mentioning beingism, when are you going to have your book translated to English?
Yes, I need to work on it. Very good. Yes.
I know I need to work on my Spanish, but still.
Yeah. And you know, and that beingism, that's how it came. It's exactly from this type of conversation. We are human beings, right? The human part, if we see at the vocabulary or the terminology, the human part is related with all the material matter. In other words, once we die, the human will stay here. But with the beingism, we're going to take the good and the bad actions that we did. Whatever, if we want to judge bad or good, nothing is bad or good. There are experiences, there are lessons. So then we're going to take it along with us. And that's the being in us. So am I going to be using the human side of me to create health? Look at the results. I mean, people have been using the human parts, humanism. But what about if we change the terminology because we are creators and we call it beingism? You know what? I don't want to create with my human part. Let me create with my being part. Let me go into all the different arenas. That's why, and that I don't think that terminology existed. So I took some risks there. We don't have it in Spanish. We don't have a serismo. I don't think we have that word. But everything that has ism is a movement. So why don't we have a movement of the being? You know, in all areas. And I said, and that's I think what's happening. People are waking up because we know that the human part is no longer functioning. But when I see the bees, again, going back to the bees and the ants, because nature is showing us the being It's not selfish. The only thing that the bee knows how to do is honey and work together and cooperate. They have a specific, virtues that nature has given them to produce honey. How come we're not producing honey and love? Love is a very high frequency, unconditional love, and that's part of beingism. The human part is self-centeredness. And if I'm self-centered, and if I'm self-centered, and I'm going to create a community and a family, I'm going to use it. I'm going to teach them to be self-centered and individual. It's good to be independent, but at the end we are interdependent. And what type of community am I going to have? So when there is an earthquake, that's why I said solidarity is very important. But solidarity should not come only when in bad situations. We should have solidarity every time, in the good, the bad, the beginning. No, we don't need to wait for an earthquake to be in union. So what about health? We need to be together in order to create the movement and the paradigm that will eventually create this harmonious health, because it starts here, so then it can be reflected inside of us. Right now, we're being bombarded with lots of stuff, and it takes work, it takes effort to really say, I want to be healthy. But you know what I mean. I don't know how to even put it in words.
Well, you did mention something, when tragedy happens,
Mm-hmm.
communities come together.
Exactly.
That needs to be all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's all the time. But what happens is if we keep it all the time harmonious, we don't have to wait for a tragedy. Even the earth will absorb the good harmonious vibration. And I think, by the way, we call that golden age. I think that
The
will be
golden age?
that will be the golden age eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. Yeah.
I think that we're contributing and doing our part and helping to reach that golden age.
Exactly.
Or yeah. So Julio, I can't wait until you have your website open.
I know. Yes.
To be able to share more of your knowledge and your wisdom. I mean, you're an author, you're a functional medicine practitioner, you're a finance. What would be your title there? I mean, you have so much that you have done in your short life to be able to help others.
Mm-hmm.
So who is Julio Cesar Mendoza in your purpose in this world and in this life?
Nice. That's a question that we all have. Sometimes I have asked myself that question so much. What is my purpose in life? I think everybody here can probably resonate with that. And most of our life we kind of lost because we are following others and we are not following our inner discernment, our inner feelings. We're not following that connection with nature. So that's why we don't find the purpose. But the purpose is not about, okay, I'm going to build a building and I'm going to rent 10 apartments. That's a mission, that's a goal. But the purpose is ultimately at a human level, is serving. Okay, it's about serving in specific areas, right? So I think once we are born, who is Julio, like you asked me? Julio is an identity. That's the identity of Julio. He's labeled by the name of Julio in a masculine form. But if I go deeper into that, probably in previous life I was a female, I was a male, I probably had children. That's what metaphysical, that's what they talk about it, because the soul reincarnates and gets experiences and lessons. So we are here to learn lessons. And Julio is right now in this specific scenario to help and to serve people, perhaps to awaken in different areas. And it's been very hard because I've been working on myself as well, and sometimes it's a very isolated but not lonely isolated personality. But it's not lonely, it's just knowing yourself. And I think there is a philosopher, I don't know his name, Confucio, I think he says the hardest thing is to know yourself. So I think it's true. But what is really that we are knowing about ourselves? It's just to be in alignment. It's just to really say to ourselves that we are the soul, we're energy in a body, having a human experience. And in that human experience, I'm going to say very straightforward, it's hell, because nothing is in alignment anymore. And we need to create this heaven on earth, which is going to take longer if we think like this, if we don't change our habits, if we don't change any, if we don't change the exterior paradigms. And that's what's called cuckoo in some people. Or they want to change the world. No, we cannot change the world. We only can change individually, ourselves individually, and then eventually just be peaceful on whatever we want to do outside, whatever God give us in any endeavor. Some people have different scenarios. Some people, we cannot be compared to others because all have a different story. I see life as actors and actresses playing a movie. That's how I see it. And Julio is another actor. But if he wants to be an actor and he wants to suffer, then I get in the movie. But if I don't want to be in the movie, I just extract myself from it mentally, and I just see it. And what I see is it's really not good. So the only thing I can do is change. The only thing I can do is work within. So I can help others in the movie, but without being in it. So that's who Julio is. I don't know if I answered your question. So we're here with the purpose of serving, with the purpose to let people know that we are this being inside of us more than the human side. That the human side, whatever we accumulate, is going to be left here when we go. Everything is going to be left here. But the essence will go wherever we go. It will never, like energy, like I think it was Einstein, will never be destroyed, but only transformed. And that's another law of the universe, the law of transformation. We are here to change the negative into the positive, whatever that is. We're living in a world of polarity, negative and positive. Both are important, the Tao. So we are in a world of duality. Even, some alternative medicine, we use biomagnetism, we use magnets that are positive and negative. So we are here to heal, not heal, to help facilitate the human body so it can heal itself, because the environment, the community, the nation is providing those individuals the necessary resources so the body with its divine intelligence can heal it, because the Almighty or the cosmos created it that way. Why are we changing it? Why are we making it more difficult? Because the lack of principle. So we need paradigms that are in with the principles and not against the principles of nature. Ethics, integrity, honesty, solidarity, unconditional love, enlightenment, courage, discernment. And then each virtue, those are virtues, are related with spiritual powers. And I'm only going to talk about only one, the power to love. Relate with that, because it's very extensive. There are virtues, tolerance. Love is tolerance, it's patience. It accepts, it understands. The conditional love is the opposite. No, I love you because there is something in there. So the body doesn't react. The body says, you either love me or not. If you don't love me, you know what? You're going to be ill. I'm going to react. It's like two different entities. Our bodies is two different entities. You're going to give me bad food. You're going to give me medication. You don't want to change. You don't want to exercise. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. Guess what? Chronic illness. So it's up to us to really be the best of doctors. The best doctors is the patient itself. It's the individual that is trying to get is trying to get better. The doctor is only do this, do that, do this. It's influences. But in actuality, if we're all different because we are bio individuals, then it's up to us to really be aware of the illness and mentally, emotions, and all that related, and the inside what we are eating. So it's all that's all health. But it's not the doctor who's doing the job. It's us if we want to cooperate. And that cooperation is called a good attitude, because I am in alignment and in high vibration. So that then I will be in alignment with the doctor. I'm going to follow the directions and all that, or the holistic practitioners or whatever. But the person's attitude in connection with everything is really the one that will help enhance health. And imagine the nation, community. Right now, people are helping Venezuela. Beautiful. When they're saving somebody, they're not asking that person, oh, where are you from? What identity? Are you this color? Oh, do you eat well? No, they're just saving people. They don't look in, they're not observing any labels. That's how we should be. And yet, when we are alive, when we label, we just see with perception. Perceptions are very important because in perception, we can discuss a book and everyone will say something different about the book. And it's true, that's beautiful. Everybody's right. But if we increase that perception and we increase the awareness and the consciousness, all that perception will change the game. It will be looked at it differently. So I don't know if you follow me. So the same thing happened with health and everything. We don't need to, labels were created to confuse. But if we see the finances and health, it's all related. We just change the label, but the consciousness is the same. It's a loving consciousness if we want to do good. If it's not good, then it's a lower consciousness. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not so philosophical here. It's just to connect the dots.
Yes, yes. And that's leading into more questions because you had talked about, being centered and self-centered, which in today's society, self-centered is not a positive word, but self-care is something that like moms put on the back burner because everybody else comes first. And I think that's a reminder that people need to know is if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of the other people?
Beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up, Becca, because I don't want people to get confused. Self-centeredness doesn't mean on the ego. Very good. There is a good self-centeredness and a bad self-centeredness in duality. So I don't want to judge and say good or bad because nothing is good or bad. But if it's a low vibration self-centeredness, then we're talking about ego and all that. It's me. That's not good. But if we're talking about the self-centeredness in high vibration, I need to be well with myself. I need to be aware to take care of me, my self-care. So then I can put my oxygen mask on and then I can help others. But sometimes it works the other way around, and that's not good because energy is drained. And remember, we are energy. So it's a good point that you brought because I don't want to get people at the audience to get confused. It's all duality. So it's just in what part of consciousness am I thinking, and where am I? Where are my thoughts when I'm trying to do something? Am I in high vibration over like the map of consciousness, or I'm in lower vibration? And you can see all the variables there in the map of consciousness.
And just kind of a simple summary of that is, are you doing something out of love? Or are you doing something because you have to? Whether you like it or not, you still have to do it. There's a vibration that comes with each of those, and they are not here. They're here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because you have to, and that creates stress. If we ask all the people outside, if we take 10 people, just 10, and we ask them, do you like your job? They will say, no, really. But they have to do it because they have to pay bills and all that. But the people that are doing what they're passionate on, it may be their purpose or something, they might not be making a lot, but they are stress-free, they're peaceful. It's high vibration, and the universe will work with them to bring them more. That's another law of the universe. It will bring them more because they are in alignment. So many times, many of us in life, the stress comes because we don't like what we're doing. We are not in alignment or serving, or the soul or the energy is saying something, but the body is saying something. So I think that's where the main foundation of being unhealthy is. Not having the freedom to really decide, because there is not even time for discernment. You just have to do it. It's like we are robots. So we're very fortunate that we can still think and talk and discern and communicate at a different level. So I think that's a blessing, just the fact that we're united here and listening to this communication.
Absolutely. Well, we are coming up to the top of the hour, and just a reminder, everybody, this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, but folks, the statements here, even though they've not been validated by the FDA, they're validated by an even higher authority. And thank you, Julio, for coming and sharing the wisdom that you have been granted with us, and just being part of our community. Help us open our eyes as to what we can do more within ourselves to help ourselves, which is not selfish.
Mhm.
Because the more we work on ourselves, the better we can be for others.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thank you. I appreciate your time with us once again, 2 weeks in a row. Sweet. And any closing statements you'd like to make, Julio?
I have come to a conclusion in my inner self that health is it's a state of mind. It's how we live life. Do we want to be peaceful, not peaceful? It's a state of mind. And I also am understanding that we have the capacity to be creators, to discern, to help others, yes, at the same time that we're helping ourselves. And the health is more profound and deeper than we think, because it's like the roots of so many things. It's emotional, it's mentally, relationships, finances. I mean, we can talk hours about what really health is, but it's a state of mind. It's really, you want to be healthy, just be positive, be on the high vibrational side. How do I need to become, high vibrate? How do I reach that? Just eating healthy, 90 nutrients, yes. Exercising, just being away from the nonsense because it's already there. I mean, that's basically common sense, and that's we've been talking about it. We're losing it. We're losing that discernment. We are becoming too separated, and that's scary. It's very scary, because then we will not have honey. The honey will be gone.
Yes, we want to keep that honey. It has so many benefits.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, folks, get back with the person that shared this program with you and let them know that you want to at least get started on the 90. Start with that foundation of nutrition that then can help the body do what it was designed to do. Because as we're working on ourselves, that spreads to our families, our communities, and as we're doing it around the world, creates better nations and a better world. So let's continue to help each other without walls.
Yes.
It's,
No walls.
without no preconceived or intentions, but just from a heart helping others.
Yes.
And I am so thankful. And if they can please come on the screen with me, and I think this question just came up. Bruce says, thank you, Mr. Julio. We always learn a lot when you teach. I like the common sense approach. Thank you, Bruce, for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah.
But yes, please, co-hosts, please come on the screen, as this is a group of people who are unselfishly giving of their time to be here to help us bring a message around the world. I have with us today Sherry, who's part of our tech crew. Thank you, Sherry, as she has helped so many people. And if you did not catch yesterday's program, then you missed out. I've got to go back and watch it because they're talking about things I'm like, what? I want to see that. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to schedule a block of time. Can't make time, but I'm going to schedule a block of time specifically for watching that. And if you want to see it, you can always go to youtube.dailywithdoc.com and do a search for Sherry, which is SHERI. And you will see all of our amazing episodes as she's sharing her knowledge in the kitchen and in life and helping others. So Thank you, Sherry. And we have Ruth Ellen, who hosted that program and who is also my executive production manager, making sure that things go as scheduled and fills in when I'm not available. And I greatly appreciate that, Ruth Ellen. Thank you for all you do. And we also have Marilyn, Miss Speedy Fingers, as she is here giving of one of her talents within the Zoom, which is only available, folks, if you're here live with us. And if you want to join us, we're here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Central, 3 to 4 Eastern. And she is keeping notes for you. So all you have to do is listen and read what she wrote if you didn't catch it the first time. So thank you, Marilyn, for all of your amazing notes. And we also have Albert as our gatekeeper joining us from South Africa. As yes, we are an international group. We are a family around the world. And I am very thankful for Albert being part of our team and also our phone team. So folks, if you're not working with somebody and you did not hear about this program from somebody else, and you would like to get more information and speak with a certified holistic health coach, you can give us a call, 855-949-3377. Again, that's 855-949-3377. And if you just want to connect with somebody in South Africa, you can call in the middle of the night when the rest of us are sleeping here in the United States, and you'll get Albert. So thank you so much, Albert, for helping us become a 24-hour service. And folks, if you're just wanting to get more information or just get started on that 90 essential nutrients, you can go to 90.dailywithdoc.com. That'll take you right to the Healthy Body Packs. If you've got heart concerns, choose a Healthy Body Start or Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. If you've got digestive concerns, choose one of the digestion packs. If you just have general, just choose a Healthy Body Pack. If you're an athlete and overachiever physically, there's even an athletic pack there for you. And if you are working with somebody, say, hey, I want one of those packs, and they will be able to help you get that and get you on your way to doing some extra self-care, especially when it comes to nutrition and taking care of your own personal cells. So again, thank you so much, Julio. And do you have one more thing to add?
Oh, just one. We're here. I hope it doesn't sound philosophical, and thank you, everybody. We're here to create a heaven on earth. And as a community, all of us here, we can change the paradigms as long as the frequencies increase so that we can create different paradigms that are in alignment with natural laws and man-made law. That is our purpose right now as a community. Does that make sense? So health will change considerably if we can do that as a community. And that will be heaven.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Julio. Pure truth right there. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us for our live Zoom audience. We greatly appreciate you being here with us. For those of you who are watching us on any of the different platforms, make sure that you share this program with somebody that you know. And most importantly, comment. Let us know where you're joining us from and what you liked most about today's program. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Subscribe to our channels and send us some love. Until next time, again, my name is Becca Dukes, and I may not be your certified naturopathic practitioner, but folks, I have a heart for everyone. That's why I do this program. So have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow with Pharmacist Fridays and Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.